In the last decade, internet usage has grown tremendously on a global scale. Of almost 7.5 billion people on this planet, approximately half of those are internet users. There are over 2 billion active social media users, which predominantly access social media via their smartphones. There is little doubt that the explosive growth of social media, smartphones, and digital devices is transforming our lives. They have brought enormous opportunities for pleasure and communication, knowledge seeking and exchange. But they also bring challenges and risks, and we're only just beginning to fully research these repercussions. Absorption in digital technologies is no longer the sole realm of adults. Even the youngest of our children are migrating online, using tablets and smartphones and downloading apps. Children are connected, mobile, and social. We see the evidence every day with our own eyes. Children appear to be going online younger and younger with the rapid uptake of tablets and other touchscreen devices. By the time they are 2 years old, more than 90% of all American children will have had some kind of digital footprint. At 5, more than 50% regularly interact with a computer or a tablet device, and by 7 or 8, many regularly play video games up to several hours per day. Teenagers text an average of 3,400 times a month, so the fact is, by middle school, our kids today are spending more time with the media than with their parents or teachers. According to a Kids Online study, the vast majority, 95% of 8 to 11-year-olds, have accessed the internet in the last 4 weeks, with almost all having accessed the internet at some point in their lives. Children in this age group use multiple internet-enabled devices, up to 3 for 10 to 11-year-olds. While the majority in this age access the internet at home, increasing numbers are using technology at school or at friends' houses away from direct parental supervision. 1 in 5 have reported seeing something online that bothered them in the last year. And even at this young age, children are avid social media users. 45% of 8 to 11-year-olds use social networking sites, the most popular being YouTube and Facebook. Children that grow up with these innovations are popularly dubbed the digital natives of a changing communication landscape that is still evolving and only partially understood. The impact of media and technology use on kids' social, emotional, and cognitive development is only just beginning to be studied.
The explosion of technology is changing how kids learn, interact, communicate, and play.
It's a new world for them, and it's a new world for us.
Smartphones, tablets, and other digital devices now an inevitable part of life at home and in school. A middle school principal in suburban Washington says technology has made learning fun and relevant.
It is a natural way to begin to get kids engaged in their learning. They have moved on from just reading textbooks and completing worksheets. It's really about the process of learning. And so technology allows students to be able to access information just in a matter of seconds.
We recently met up with several families in McLean, Virginia, outside Washington. Kids and parents we talked to here agree there are countless benefits.
When you're typing, it'll pick out your errors, like if you have a spelling error, grammatical error.
And all the assignments that the teachers give is always online, so it's really easy.
6-year-old Aiden's favorite thing to do?
I love to play games.
Ali, a father of 2, says his 10-year-old son Cameron, who also loves sports, taught himself how to play chess a few years ago.
Some kids were playing chess in school, but he wanted to learn, and he picked it up through the iPad. To my surprise, he came in second in the tournament.
Recent studies suggest many children are using digital devices more than the recommended 2 hours maximum a day. And experts warn too much screen time means less face-to-face interaction.
I think the biggest downside is the loss of social skills.
Patricia Greenfield, a psychology professor at UCLA, studied 2 groups of 6th graders from the same public school. One group stayed at school, the other was sent to an outdoor camp where no electronic devices were allowed.
And we found that after 5 days at this nature camp, their social skills, their ability to read emotion, had improved. And we knew that because we compared them to a control group from the same school, the same grade, who just were doing their normal thing back at their school.
These parents say their kids have to follow the rules at home. And at the end of the day, it's about good parenting and common sense.
Now we try and limit the iPad to Friday afternoons and through the weekend, if they've done everything they had to do during the week.
We also have to teach them their limits. We have to teach them what it is to socialize with friends, family, how to speak to each other, have eye contact.
Family therapist Dr. Elaine Brady says that's the right approach, but wants parents to take it even further.
Parents are going to have to be engaged with your children and actively work to engage children in outside activities, sports, interests, hobbies that bring them into face-to-face contact, and that is the key.
So technology can be a great tool for kids, fun and educational, but studies show it cannot replace talking with them one-on-one and what experts call real human interaction.
So let's examine the positive and negative impacts that the internet has on children. The internet is a powerful tool that is revolutionizing our children's learning, communication, and play. The modern computer and the internet offers today's children a powerful device that, if used appropriately, can enhance the development of a child's physical, cognitive, and social skills. In fact, a study by Kim in 2003 found that children who spend more time on the internet were more likely to spend time with other media, more time with other types of physical activities, and were more socially involved. It may not seem obvious to the naked eye that exposure to the internet would have a positive effect on the physical development of children. However, research has shown that increased internet usage also leads to increased muscle development and the development of fine motor skills and enhanced hand-eye coordination. Children who use the internet also show gains in cognitive abilities such as memory, spatial and logical problem solving, critical thinking, concentration, abstraction and comprehension. The internet exposes children to information to improve their quality of learning, and they can transform that into knowledge. Furthermore, through the use of the internet, children's language and literacy skills are often promoted, allowing for greater gains in verbal and non-verbal skills. Whilst the internet cannot and should not replace human interaction or relationships, it allows children to socialize with other children through the use of emails and chat rooms and IMing, increasing the development of their communication and social skills. Plus, as children use the internet to connect with places around the world and exchange mail with electronic pen pals, they are able to share in different cultures and traditions. Often, the use of the internet in classrooms allows children to work together, encouraging the sharing of ideas and cooperative learning. Students that find conventional methods of learning difficult will frequently find learning via the internet to be really fun. So from this positive experience, these children improve their attitudes about learning whilst enhancing their curiosity and self-concept. Besides being used as an educational tool, the internet also provides entertainment. Children can use it to find inspiration, stimulate the imagination, explore the world, meet other people, and gain new experiences. In other words, play. Although it's not a replacement for physical social play, the internet offers a unique alternative, which is really important for those who are physically disabled or unable to engage in other types of physical play. The internet today is part of our children's natural environment. According to Tapscott, when kids are online, they're reading, thinking, analysing, criticising and authenticating, composing their thoughts. Kids use computers for activities that go hand in hand with our understanding of what constitutes a traditional childhood. They use technology to play, learn, communicate, and form relationships as children always have. Development is enhanced in an interactive world. So, the internet has become a daily part of many children's lives. It is little wonder, therefore, that it has such a pervasive effect on their social development. So for most kids, the experience of being online is a good one. However, children are also confronting the challenges that being online can bring. Research has shown that too much hypertext and multimedia content has been linked in some kids to a limited attention span, lower comprehension, poor focus, a greater risk for depression, and diminished long-term memory. We talked before about how 1/5 of young children have reported seeing something or experiencing something online that bothered them. Statistics show that around 44% of tweens have admitted watching something online that their parents wouldn't approve of. Only 28% of those parents were aware of this. Around 70% of children aged 7 to 18 have accidentally encountered online pornography, often through a web search that they were doing for homework. Around 20% of teenaged internet users have been the target of unwanted sexual solicitation, and up to 17% of 12 to 13-year-olds have reported that they have been cyberbullied. A study by the EU Kids Online Network in 2009 classified the online risks that kids face into 3 categories: content risks, contact risks, and conduct risks. Content risks is the harm kids might face by being exposed to certain content. So, for example, sites that promote anorexia, so pro-ana sites, pro-suicide sites, and of course pornography. Contact risks is generally an adult-initiated interaction which requires the child to participate, possibly unwittingly or unwillingly. So, for example, these are groomers or paedophiles that are trying to contact children illegally. And lastly, conduct risks is where kids engage in harmful behaviour online, either as the perpetrator or as the victim. So the example would be cyberbullying and other aggressive behaviours such as flaming and trolling or revenge behaviours. So let's find a balance. It's important to acknowledge risks and challenges, but we shouldn't lose sight of the enormous positives of the online world and the great benefit it provides. Helping kids to stay safe and become good digital citizens is key to making sure that they get the best out of the online world that they can. As a society, we have no choice but to engage with this new reality and work to ensure that it affects our kids in healthy, responsible ways. So let's end this with a discussion question. What impact will the increased usage of the internet at such a young age have on creativity? Is it changing the hardwiring of children's brains?